Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Elliot. I have recently gotten into e-currency and I want to start shooting some videos where I go through some articles I'm reading, maybe get your thoughts and kind of just share, what I see going on in e-currency, and maybe we can learn a little bit together and make some money. I was taking a look today at this TechCrunch article that came out, and it said Bitcoin just passed $8,000. Now, I've been thinking about getting into this a bit. Haven't really dabbled too much, but that just blew my mind, because I remember when Bitcoin, when you could buy Bitcoins plural, and it'd be like a couple bucks, and now it's $8,000. I mean, that's just crazy. If you take a look here at the graph that they're showing, we see that, it doesn't even start in the single dollars, right? Throughout the year, I mean, we've basically seen it go from, about $900 here to almost, 8,000, a little bit more now. It's a huge climb. And basically, I'm wondering, should I get involved in this Bitcoin stuff? Is this going to be sustainable? I was also checking out this other article here from CNN Money. And there were some pretty cool quotes I really liked in here. I just thought I'd share them with you here. They're also talking about the fact that Bitcoin is over $8,000, which is super cool. But one cool statistic that they had in here is that the price has surged more than 735% just this year, and obviously 40,000% in the past 5 years. Okay, they're talking the entire lifespan of Bitcoin, but 735% this year. What other type of investment are you going to get or make that's going to give you 735% return? I did a little finance studying back in the day. I was a finance major, and you're taught in those courses that 7% gain is you should be ecstatic with 7% gain, right? You're basically playing the market. That's the expected return there. And this is 735% this year alone. So starting to get into this, trying to figure out a little bit more about what type of investments to make. But there are definitely some doubters in here. Let me find this guy, Jamie Dion. He's like bashing Bitcoin here. He's calling it fraud. That's better off being used by drug dealers in North Korea. First of all, I don't think North Korea has access to a huge amount of Bitcoins. I don't think that populace has that capability. Maybe the government as a whole, but I don't think the populace is going to start using Bitcoins tomorrow and replace their currency. Maybe that's not what he meant, but I still thought it was pretty fun. But then also saying it's better off being used by drug dealers. Well, I don't know too much about that, but my assumption is they'd continue to use cash, right? All the Netflix TV shows I've seen. So I'm going to discount what this guy is saying. I think that he's a little biased here. He's protecting, JP Morgan, which is highly invested in using, current financial instruments instead of pivoting over to the modern Bitcoin. This guy, Blank Fine, I'm going to say his name is. He says here that folks are also skeptical when paper money displaces gold, right? And he's using that as an analogy here to say that, anytime there's a change in currency, that the people are always skeptical up front. But I think we can take from that, if you get in early, there's some value or alpha to be had there. And I agree. He makes a very good point here. What's funny is that if we think about paper money, there hasn't been a revolution in currency pretty much since what he's talking about, since the U.S. dollar began, right? Since, we started the Revolutionary War and started printing our own currency to get away from the English there. And it's for the longest time, right? Paper currency was actually backed by gold, but gold is a completely relative substance too, right? So it's interesting the way that we as humans, as people, think about money. This other guy here, this guy Frank Holmes, had some interesting things to say. He is the CEO and chief investor of U.S. Global Investors. And he wrote in a recent note to clients that Bitcoin prices should keep rising simply because more and more people are likely to use it. And that really resonated with me. I consider myself to be a tech guy, but I've been very hesitant to get into e-currency myself. And there have to be more people like me out there, and a ton of people who just haven't even started exploring it. Maybe you're one of those people. I'm really buying into this. I think that the price of Bitcoin is just beginning. They've learned how to break up Bitcoins and sell them off in pieces. So, I'm pretty excited here about this. There was this really cool quote I like here. In an effort to bypass the rules and costs associated with getting listed on exchange, many startups are now opting to raise funds by issuing their own digital currency based on blockchain technology. I recently interviewed for a job in blockchain technology, and it's interesting. If we think about the rules and costs, right, associated with starting your own business, if you could just avoid all of that with e-currency, will that be a thing forever? No, I'm sure the government or the state or someone will figure out a way to get a piece of that. But right now, it feels very cutting edge to cut out those fees. If you know they exist and they are a barrier to starting your own thing, why not go down that path? Certainly there's uncertainty there, but there's uncertainty doing everything. So the last article I checked out here is this article from CNBC. And I thought this article was pretty funny, actually. They spoke with individuals and businesses who have paid or received thousands of dollars in Bitcoin in recent weeks. That was like their litmus test that they're using to prove that they're like really legit. This is like a major news publication, and that's the best way they could spin this article. So I thought that was pretty ridiculous. But they did make an interesting point here. They said that the digital currency lets them complete transactions far more swiftly than traditional government-backed means. And I totally buy into that, right? Government loves creating red tape, loves creating systems of control, right? And by bypassing that, you're gaining this flexibility. So it's a risk and flexibility thing, but in the modern world and the technological world, I can totally see the value of e-currency paying off because it's simply faster. Will it stay that way forever? I don't know. I also really enjoyed this. This is me kind of mocking CNBC here a little bit. Shh, don't tell them. Don't email the Reddit, the publishers on the behalf. I know they do a great job here. But here's another example. So an October letter from the law office to a client posted on Reddit. So they're using like Reddit as one of their resources. Shows Hannah was paid $5,000 in Bitcoin. Hannah said they transferred Bitcoin directly using the Mycelium app. I have to check that out. I wonder if that's cool. If anyone's used that, post in the comments there. Let me know what you think of it. But he said create a separate wallet just for the law firm. So this is kind of cool. Like I recently moved out to San Francisco, and one of the things I see everywhere is a point of purchase is now like the iPad. Everyone does that here. And as I've traveled to different places, I don't always see that. And I wonder if using an app with Bitcoin, that will be the way in which this currency starts to be used. Because right now, if you said like, Elliot, where can you go use Bitcoin in what I would argue is one of the most technological cities in the world? I would say, like, frankly, I don't know. It's certainly something people are talking about, but as a point of purchase location, I'm not quite sure how I'd use Bitcoin. And I know you can go online and Google it and be like, this guy spent all this time, proving that you could use Bitcoin, that it was possible. But, if I walk into a restaurant right now, is that going to be possible with an app? Suddenly that makes a lot of sense to me. None of my friends here are like, oh, you got to download this app. That's how you use Bitcoin. But maybe that's what's coming in the future. Maybe you have that app and you can tell me to try yours here. At the very end of this article, if you check it out, I'll post the links in the comments. There's this guy here who bought a Lamborghini with Bitcoins. So, it's making me really believe, and he actually spent 10,000 Bitcoins, which would now be, worth tens of millions of dollars. That's a pretty recent example. I understand the market's getting saturated, the people are getting into it, but I still feel like there's a lot of space in this market to get excited and to frankly make some money. So, subscribe if you like the video. I'm going to be doing this, every day and just checking out new articles. I think that, hopefully this program will get a lot more polished, and you guys can give me some recommendations, help me out. If you've taken courses with me in the past, you know that I get pretty passionate about teaching about this stuff. So, subscribe, get me going, and help us out.